Up, guys? We are live. Wow, someone hopped on like immediately. That's pretty good. Someone was ready to get live with me today. What is up, y'all? Who has recovered fully from Cinco de Mayo yesterday? Who is still sleeping off in the afternoon because you were studying so hard on Cinco de Mayo, right? Today's video is how to change your study habits and be a better studier. Taylor, what up? Kat, Johnny, Elizabeth, what up? It's been so long, Elizabeth. I haven't seen you in I don't know how long. It's been forever. McKay, Brandon. Yes, I was late. I was playing with my daughter. She wanted to play, and I had to play with her. I had to play with her. Brandon, what up? Candace, hello. Zach, yeah, your code is coming today. Yesterday, my call shift was way busier than I thought it was gonna be. I worked all day. That's why I look as crazy as I do now with these bags in my eyes. So Zach, that's coming for you today. Darren, see Charles, Victor, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so here we go. Who's ready? All right, in this video, here's what you're gonna learn. Three things. The first thing is, and I planned a lecture today, and you guys know when I plan a lecture, we're about to go in. So everyone, be ready. Can you address intense concentration and how to sustain it? Yeah, we can talk about that. Okay, here we go. So today in this video, here's what you're gonna learn. One is you're gonna learn the truth about improving your studying. The second thing you're gonna learn is a surefire solution for making next semester your best semester yet. And for a lot of you guys, just finished finals up, so you're feeling that sting of another quarter or another semester wasted, and you're ready to improve. That's what we're gonna talk about. Latanya, David, what up? Okay. The third thing you're gonna learn is how to change your mindset, and how you can overcome your test anxiety and build that confidence about your studying and about getting to medical school. Shawnee, hello. I'm not going to answer your question, Shawnee, because we've talked about that before in another video. You must be new. It's okay. Um, who's excited to learn about improving their studying and making that change, right? Who had a disappointing semester or quarter and is ready now at this point? They've matured and they see the error of their ways and they're ready to make that positive change. And you're looking for how, right? You're looking for that change. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. If you're ready for it, everyone right now, give the video a like if you're ready to learn about changing your study habits and getting better. In addition to that, okay, we are also going to have a giveaway of a free course at some point during this live stream. Maybe now, maybe in 10 minutes, maybe at the end, at some point. So hang out with me and you may get a free course. Okay. So, all these topics that we're talking about today, right, came out of the fact that finals were last week and some people have been emailing me. And then I gave a keynote on Friday at the Mount Sac PreHealth Conference. And at that conference, anytime I go and do talks, as you guys know, I'm pretty interactive. And so questions come up, people have commentary. And so we discuss things and we get to their issues and we address them. And so there was some nice dialogue that we had. And so that kind of prompted me to do this session and really kind of go in because I think it is something that people struggle with. And so, oh, Taylor, your finals are this week, ready to kill it? Wow. Finals are stretching out now, man. It's like early May, right? Something like that. All right, so here we go. Yeah, so that's what we're going to address today. But before we get that, there's a couple announcements, and I'm going to use this because so many of you guys are so all over the place. I want to use this opportunity to reach some of you guys. So some key announcements. The first thing is I have full-length courses on premedproductivity.com, guys. They're great. They're awesome. They're amazing. They're an extension of this channel. Okay. If you guys have questions, right? If you like these videos, you come on here and you like this every week, and then you guys send me these crazy long questions. And especially now, right? It's May. It's right before applications get submitted. I have people who I don't know from anywhere, and they send me their entire application, their entire life story, and they say, hey, review this for me and tell me what you think I should do. And it's like they want me to literally sit down and review their entire application and give them feedback. Or people send me their entire application and say, hey, I just need a couple pointers. And both of those approaches are wrong. Truthfully, they're wrong. And it makes it hard for me to help you guys, and it makes you hard for you to be better and get the help you need. Because it doesn't make sense for you to think that somebody is going to be able to give you meaningful feedback via email of your entire application when they don't know you, know anything about you, and like I'm gonna have the time to do all that. Right? It's not logical. And the reason I keep talking about these courses is because if you guys want more clarification, if you want the full story, get into a course. YouTube's not built to cover the exactness of everything. It's not what it's built for. You guys come and hang out for a couple minutes. You're not going to hang out for 29 hours with me on YouTube, which is how long my How to Dominate Premed course is about the application. Okay? So, everyone understand that. Does everyone understand that? Do not send me those crazy long things. And it was funny because I gave a keynote on Friday and I had an hour to deliver this keynote. And you guys know me, I do an hour every week with you guys, right? I can speak for days. And so in these keynotes, I've learned a lesson, right? We all improve. I used to try to come out and give super high level study strategies in a 1 hour keynote. And the problem is that people, A, weren't ready to hear what it really takes to be successful and weren't ready to hear that what they've learned about studying is wrong. And so when I would come out and try to do like teach people flashcarding, as Elizabeth just mentioned, or I come out and try to teach someone high-level note-taking, or I teach someone about changing their schedule, people would buck at it because they weren't ready to hear it. And so I've changed my focus, and now I try to prepare people's mindset to get their studying on track in my keynotes. And so it was hilarious because someone asked a super complex, it was a great question about studying. And I was like, oh man, we have literally, I asked the organizer of the event, I'm like, oh, how much more time do I have? They're like 10 minutes. And so, okay, I have time, but I don't have time to address that in 10 minutes. And so I said, if you want that addressed, I address it in my course from the bottom Premed pack to Stanford Medical School in 21 days. And then someone yelled out, yeah, for $500. And I was like, actually, the course is $16. And because you're here at my event, I've actually given you a discount on it, so it's even cheaper. Right? So it's like people think that it's like it has to be super expensive. And for you guys who are on budgets or whatever, start with the $16 course. It's $16, the cost of a movie ticket. That can literally change your mind, change your path, change your trajectory in your future. So just think about that, all right? That's the first thing. The second thing is our streaming schedule every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yes, you can use PayPal right now on my website. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time will be live here. The new format, I'm going to lecture. I'm going to answer you guys' questions, okay? And then after I answer you guys' questions, we're going to start doing a giveaway every single Sunday. So who wants to get giveaways every single Sunday? Just for fun, okay? Furthermore, Tuesday and Thursday, there'll be a new pre-recorded video every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. Okay? Oh yeah, everybody's excited for the giveaway. If you're excited for the giveaway, give this video a like right now because in order to be eligible for the giveaway today, you have to have liked this video. And there are more people on here than there are likes on this video, which means some of you guys don't want to win. And it's okay. That's just more for the rest of people who do want to win. All right. The next thing is, for people who want to get in courses and they want payment plans, stop emailing me. I've now extended payment plans out to 9 months on my website. You can pay over 9 months. Furthermore, if you're looking for the payment plan options, they're at the bottom of the course page. Scroll all the way down and you see all the payment plan options right there. Yes, right there. Next, we had a free application webinar last weekend. It was 4 hours. It was awesome. It was totally free. Because of finals week, many of you guys couldn't make the live stream or you couldn't make it when I sent the replay link out. I said I was going to send the replay out earlier this week, like 2 days ago, but I've been swamped. I worked 324s this week plus my regular schedules. So I worked a ton of hours, almost 100 hours this week. Because of that, I couldn't send the link out. Furthermore, some of you guys emailed me and said, well, if it's only available for a limited amount of time, I have finals this week, don't send it out right now. Therefore, I'm going to be sending it out tomorrow. That's Monday. That's 5/7. Sending it out. It'll be available and open for 72 hours for you guys to watch that replay. All right. The 5 Pillars course. The people in my 5 Pillars. Now, there's a lot of announcements, but I'm going to get it out and then we're going to get to it. 5 Pillars course. If you're in my 5 Pillars course, the 5 Pillars of studying less and getting better grades. The flashcard webinar is supposed to be today, but again, I got busy. So the flashcard webinar will be Thursday, May 10th at 7 p.m. The registration link will be in your course today. And I'll be sending it out today. Right after this, I'll be sending out the registration link so you guys can register for that flashcard webinar. That's next Thursday at 7 p.m. Continue this. If you're in my How to Dominate Pre-Med and the Medical School Application course, the definitive guide, if you're in that course, we are going to have our first of our exclusive application preparation webinars starting next week. So not this week, starting 8 days from now on Tuesday. So that's Tuesday the 10, 11, 12, 13, Tuesday the 15th. I think that's right. Tuesday the 15th will be our first, and you guys get an email about it for all the details. It'll be our first application webinar. It's exclusive people in this course, and we're going to be breaking down and going through actual applications so you guys can kind of amplify what you've already learned in the course, and you guys can ask clarifying questions and all those kind of things to get yourself ready to submit your application. We'll be having these every single week, every single Tuesday, until the end of June. That way you guys can get the support through the application process that you guys want. That was feedback that you guys sent to me, and you said, listen, I'd love to be able to ask kind of specific questions about my situation and talk through things and see some more examples. And so I always am here for you guys, right, to respond and what you need. And so I said, sure. So every single Tuesday, right? That's like 8 different webinars we're gonna have. Every single Tuesday, we're gonna be meeting, and you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, ask clarifications, send me your applications, send me personal statements, have them reviewed so we can all learn from each other and get better. All right. Woo! Was that enough announcements? Okay, now, who is ready for the actual video? After we got through all those announcements, it's a time of change, right? It's springtime, heading into summer, it's a time of change. And so there's lots of announcements to get through. But now that we've done that, let's talk about it. Improving our studying. How do we do it? How do we get it done? Right? We all want to do this, but how do we actually get it done? The first question I want to ask you guys is, who thinks life is hard and who thinks life is complicated? So Taylor, there will be a time for questions tonight, and we'll answer some kind of off-topic questions. That's fine, but at the end. Right? Life is hard and life is complicated. I think that that's absolutely true. Life is hard, life is complicated. And so many of us struggle because we're like, man, why does it have to be so hard? Why does it have to be so complicated? That's how life is, right? It's harsh, right? It's difficult. It's an uphill battle at points. And it gets more complicated, as Candy just said, as you develop bigger goals and dreams. And we're going to talk about this. Is important, right? So that's complicated. And for some of you guys, talk about making big and complicated goals. One of your goals is to be a great student and get to medical school. And as part of that, my question to you is, how many of you guys feel like when the term starts and you have all these classes heaped on you, it seems hard, it seems complicated, right? It seems complex, these classes. There's all these facts, there's all these things I have to know. I don't know how to organize them. It's so complex, it's so complicated. I don't have a way to get at the material. How many of you guys feel that way? That every quarter, every semester, when you see those syllabi, you immediately feel overwhelmed. You feel like your chest is tight, like your shoulders are being weighed down. Right? Ben just said it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Right? It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel because you're buried under books, right? And under concepts, and under facts, and under terms. So how many of you guys feel like your classes are overwhelming and daunting, as Kat just said? Right? You feel like you're juggling all these different things, right? You feel this overwhelmed. And the reason I ask this question, I want you guys to respond, is because how many of you guys feel like you're the only one who feels as overwhelmed as you do? You feel like no one else feels as overwhelmed as you do. No one else feels the conflict in all of their obligations as hard as you do, right? No one has to deal with the things and the stressors that you do, right? You feel, right? And Elizabeth said, I know I'm not alone, but in the moment it feels that way. And the reason I asked that question is because I want to first establish that you guys aren't alone in feeling that overwhelmed. And the most common thing is we have to understand that it can feel isolating, but it's everybody. So many students, and so many students feel that way. So many students feel that overwhelm, that stress, that burden, this uncarryable weight. And they feel like they're the only one who's doing it because we always try to put this front on like we know what's going on, right? And we don't create this normalization and this support that, listen, we don't know what we're doing. And when we feel overwhelmed, it is because we don't know what we're doing. And so many students don't know what they're doing in terms of studying. And what was interesting in the conversation we had at Mount SAC is that we get so caught up in tackling these complex problems that we assume the solution must be equally complicated, right? Complex problems require complex solutions. I think that's a slogan for one of these companies out here. Complex problems require complex solutions. And so we start to think that way. We start to, oh, it must be something very far out and it has to have a fancy name, right? My studying technique. It has to be super intricate and difficult to implement. That's how we look at our solutions to our studying. And it was interesting because I was at Mount SAC. I said that I was doing my keynote. And before my keynote, I was talking to Dr. Ryan Gray. And you guys may know Dr. Ryan Gray. He runs Med School HQ. And so he has a bunch of podcasts, all kind of stuff. If you don't know him, check him out. Subscribe to some podcasts, check out some episodes. But what was interesting was, and Elizabeth was there, and some students were there, and we were talking about relationships and kind of having successful relationships. And one student was talking about how her significant other wasn't as supportive as she needed him to be in her journey to medical school. And so we were just talking about this, and I was like, yeah, make sure he's on board and all this kind of stuff. And then Dr. Gray brought up a book by an author he had on his podcast that was about relationships. He's like, yeah, long story short, the book, it all boils down to successful relationships is communication. And it's hilarious because, right, my wife and I, we hang out so much, we're like this, right? We just like, and we both laughed at the same time. And we both laughed because it sounds silly, but the honest truth is, if you want to have a successful relationship, it's about communication. As simple as that is, it's 99% of relationship is communicating. I'm sorry, 90%. We'll call it 90% is communicating. And as part of that communication, that 90%, I would say 80% of that communication, right? 80% of that communication is communicating expectations. And this is a subtlety because oftentimes we feel like communicating, we're just spewing words. But often when we spew words, we mask what we really want and what we really need. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? We talk, but we don't say anything. We blame, we judge, we criticize, but we don't tell them, right? We don't communicate what we actually need. And so as part of that, right, and the specifics and drilling it down is if you want to have a certain relationship, you not only have to communicate, but you have to communicate your expectations. You must communicate your expectations. And when I say expectations, is what you expect that other person to do, what you need them to do to make the relationship successful. And as part of that, and this is where it really gets nuanced. This is where we talk about layers to things, right? Nothing's just this simple. Things are simple, but there's a depth to it, right? And a specificity to that simplicity. So we must communicate. We must communicate our expectations. And even more, we must make sure that when we get an expectation placed on us, or we're talking about expectations, that we're sure to clarify what is required, what is needed for someone to meet our expectation. So often we put demands on people. I need you to do this. But you don't take the time to ask them, hey, how can I help you? What do you need in place? What can I do to make you meet my expectations, to help you, to support you to meet that expectation? And this video is not about relationships, but what's important about that is when it comes to improving and changing your studying, right? When you're trying to make that change and be better, it's just like feeding a relationship. Simplicity rules. But with simplicity, we must go down into the depths of that simplicity to have a full picture of that simplicity. And when it comes to, right, how many of you guys, so before I tell you what it is, how many of you guys, you just finished your semester, right? Finals just ended, or finals are coming up this week for you. Either, or if finals are coming up for you, you know that the finals aren't going to be as good as you wanted. If your finals just ended, you took the final and you know it didn't go as well as you had expected and as you wanted, right? You didn't meet your goals for the semester. How many of you guys are in that situation? Where either you just took finals and you know it didn't go well, or you're about to take finals and it's not going to go as well as you would like. Right? Ben said me. Who else is gonna be honest and spit some truth and say that this quarter and this semester was not what it should have been? Right? Meryl said applications, right, get in the way. Sam said lost some of my A's. And this happens, right? Things happen. And my question is for you guys, how many of you guys immediately, when you feel that sting or that sting's about to happen, you tell yourself, okay, next semester I'm gonna be different. Next semester I'm gonna change, right? And you snap your fingers and you say, I'm gonna get A's, right? I'm not gonna procrastinate. I'm not gonna get behind. I'm not gonna have to cram. I'm gonna be on top of things. I'm gonna go to office hours. I'm gonna be doing the homework assignments. I'm gonna be going through the study guides. I'm gonna make sure I do all the questions before the test. All these things, right? All these things. Taylor just said, can I brag for a second? On all three of my finals, I only needed 50% to keep my A's. I killed myself at the beginning so I don't stress so much before graduation. That's awesome, Taylor. So Taylor did so well this quarter in being on time and preparing that she only needed 50% on her final exams to get those A's. That's awesome. Great job, Taylor. But do you guys see what I'm saying? You guys say that, right? And you snap your fingers. And we do this every time. And my next question for you guys is for you guys who are trying to snap your fingers and say, I'm going to be different. I'm going to get A's. I'm going to do all these things. If that's the way you think about it, how many of you guys, is this your fourth or fifth or sixth semester snapping those fingers? Saying the same things of, I won't do this again. I will be better next term. I will, right? How many of you guys are saying that to yourselves? This is like not the first semester that went not optimally, right? It's the fifth, it's the 10th semester that has not gone optimally. And you're saying to yourself, I'm going to make, this time it's going to be different. This time I'm going to make that change. This time I'm going to improve. Does that make sense? Awesome, Casey did better than last semester. And Milo says yes. So some of you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys, right? And Brandon just said he's improved with the 5 pillars, right? The 5 pillars course and also the dominating pre-med course. I love it. I'm glad. The courses should help you improve, right? That's the whole thing. We say this all the time and we wonder why that change doesn't happen. And the reality is that you've done what people do in relationships. Maybe you've identified that communication is key. And you said, I need to get A's. I expect to get A's. I expect not to cram. I expect not to procrastinate. But then you didn't go a step deeper and identify what needs to happen for you to meet that expectation. Yes, the 5 pillars course is life, Iman. You are correct. How many of you guys understand what I'm saying? You say, oh, I'm going to get the A's, but you fail to identify what's required of you to get those A's. Think about that. Because getting A's, not procrastinating, not getting behind, not cramming, those are expectations, those are goals. Those are not plans. Those are not steps to execution. And so when you snap your fingers and say straight A student, it can't happen. Why? Because you don't have a mechanism, right? You don't have a mechanism to get to that change. Does everyone understand? You can't make change in your mindset or in your study habits and improve unless you have a mechanism to change. You have to have a plan. And when it comes down to studying, you have to have a skill set, a knowledge base, and a habit loop to change to. And someone just said the magic words. Candy said it's the difference between a wish and a plan. Ben said you need a plan before anything can happen, right? It's the truth, right? It's the difference between, and right? And that's where your guys' breakdown occurs. That's the breakdown occurs. You guys have wishes and expectations, but you don't have a plan. You don't have the skill set, the knowledge, and the habits to change to. I want to change these clothes, they're dirty. But if you don't have a second set of clothes to change to, you can't get it done. You can't get it done. And so this brings us to, right, we identified that it's this expectation, but now we have to drill it down to the plan. So how do we improve? We first have to have a plan. And when we talk about how do we improve and change, what is the most surefire way? All right, who's ready to learn the surefire system? I got some steps listed out here. We're gonna walk them through. Who's ready to learn how to improve and change their studying? Have we identified why you haven't been able to improve and change your studying? Have I hit on your issue? Have I talked about the way you think and how it's limiting you and how you only stopped at the communication and not the plan? Okay. Also, you guys may notice, right? I've switched over from Facebook to YouTube, and on YouTube we get a lot of, and you guys know a lot of the racist people who want to call me N-word and want to call me all these kind of things. People want to say ridiculous stuff. So what's wonderful is I am always searching for things to make things better, and so I found a app that plugs into my YouTube that now will put people on timeout who use inappropriate language. And there's a whole bunch of words that I've put in there that people can't use. But now I don't have to go through, right? We don't have to worry about blocking people because now this app will block them for us. So it's going to clean up our chat. So I'm excited. And for some of you guys who aren't using necessarily bad words, it's a robot, so it's not super smart. So it may block you for using borderline words. So make sure that you keep it clean because there are some young people on here. We have some high school students. We even have, it was interesting. I was at, what was I at? I was at something and, I was at, I went to a hotel because I was staying at a hotel like 2 weeks ago, and a young junior high kid recognized me and hangs out on our YouTube channel. And so I was like, wow. And so I'm trying to make it family friendly for them. Even though we talk about adult things and I use some coarse language sometimes, I'm trying to make it as friendly for these young people as well. So anyway, so how do we improve? What's the most surefire way to improve our studying? Okay. First, we must change our mindset. And this is a question that someone asked me in the audience. Like, listen, I want to be a better student. I want to be better. But how do I even make that mindset change to know that I can be better? Right? And how many of you guys feel that way? Like you feel like your mind is a major factor in holding you back from being the best you can be in any field of your life, let alone in studying. How many of you guys, right, you feel that? Like, man, just my mind isn't in it. My mind isn't there. Right? Isha said for sure. Right? 100%. Our mind. And this is why so much of my channel and so many of my courses, right, and aspects of my courses, we focus on the mind, because if your mind isn't focused, if your mind is not in the place it needs to be, you can't do what you need to do because the body follows the mind. And our actions come from our thoughts. And if your mind's not right, you can't even get there. And the first thing we have to do when we want to change our mindset, right? And the student asked me that. And so I answered his question. And so I want to answer that question for you guys today who are wondering, well, how do I change my mindset? I want to change my mindset. I want to have a better, stronger, more productive mind. How do I get there? And the very first thing, guys, is raising your expectation. And it's hard to hear sometimes on this channel when I talk about this because so many of us have learned to settle for just good enough. Right? So many of you guys have You guys don't expect much from other people. You don't expect much from yourselves. And it's interesting because people will, and I was talking about this with Dr. Gray, right? So from Med School HQ, I was talking about it. And he was saying how he had gone to this conference, and this is why I don't go to these conferences, but he had gone to this conference for pre-health advisors, right? So the people at your guys' school who get paid to advise you in how to get to medical school. And what was so interesting was he was talking about the same thing that I've experienced when I've met with these people and gone to these different conferences and people bring me in to train their departments, is that it's unfortunate, but it's like anything. We all start somewhere. And a lot of times the budget for counseling, it's just like mental services, mental health services. Mental health services, counselors, support services like that, ancillary services, they're the first to go when we do budget cuts. As a result, the people who advise you in your pre-health office, they don't make a lot of money in that position. And as a result, that position is not very desirable to people. Oftentimes, these people don't have the expertise to advise you. And so what we were talking about is that you go to these pre-health conferences, right, with these pre-health advisors, and the reality is where they get their information from is YouTube, is studentdoctor.net. And it's unfortunate, but that's their resource. And that's what they use to guide you. And I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but you feel like your advisor is nuts. You're like, what are you talking about? Like that can't be right. That can't be accurate. Right? You're like, wait a minute, what? That sounds like something a troll would say in studentdoctor.net. And the reason it sounds like that is because it really is from that place. And I promise you, it's sad. It's the same thing with the study experts, right? The learning experts on your course, on your campuses. It's sad to say, I wish it was different, and I'm trying to push for change. But the reality is, right? Denitra, what up? The reality is, they don't give these people the support and the resource. As students, they don't give you guys the resources. They don't give the people teaching you the resources to teach you, right? The advisors don't have resources. The learning experts, they don't have any resources to better their learning from. And so they give you guys misinformation, incomplete information, not the information you guys need to get there. And so I was talking to Dr. Gray about this. He's like, yeah, he's like, it's super sad because I'm like, how, like, you are, I feel bad. He's like, I feel bad for the students. And this is why I keep always telling you, I feel bad for you guys because you guys are being led to the slaughter and you don't even know it by people who are put in positions to be experts to you, but who aren't experts. I feel bad for students. I feel bad for the advisor because they're put in a position, a hard spot where it's like my whole job depends on advising students, but I don't have the expertise to do it. Right? It's just sad. But anyway, so we were talking about that. And so what happened is we lower expectations of what an expert is and what a knowledge base is. And where we stay on that superficial level. And that superficial level that we expect from them carries over to us, and we don't expect ourselves to be a true expert. Does that make sense? And the way this came out in the conference on Friday was that if you guys have ever been to one of my keynotes, there's a couple key questions I'm always asking people about studying because it draws out and it makes you realize how little you actually know about studying. And one of the first question I'll ask is, hey, how many of you guys know how to study? How many of you guys know how to study? I'll just ask the question, right? And Bernard just said it. Most people are tired of going getting the same workshops and the same repetitive, superficial information. We've got to get away from that model. We've got to do something different. But I ask people, how many of you know how to study? And I'll ask you guys on here. And my students don't count. And there's a lot of you guys who are already in my study courses, so you guys actually do know how to study. But how many of you guys know how to study? And I'll ask this at events all the time. How many of you guys know how to study? And at first, and this is sad, right? In a room of 100 people, a room of 1,000 people, normally it's about 10% of people will raise their hand and say, I know how to study. And it's the honesty factor, right? The other 90% know they don't know how to study. And what's sad is that the 10% who do answer and say, I know how to study, don't know how to study either. And this is what Taylor's saying right here. So this is important, guys. Listen to what Taylor's saying. This is exactly what happened. Taylor said, I honestly believe my study technique is decent. I still want to learn from you, but I am somewhat confident. And this is important because what happened was I asked this question on Friday and I said, how many of you guys know how to study? And one girl was really excited. She's like, yeah, I know how to study. And I said, oh, you know how to study? And she's like, yes. I said, you know how to study? And she said, I guess. And this is like Taylor saying, well, I feel pretty good about it. I feel decent about it. I guess. And the analogy I came up with was, how many of you guys ever been in the car with your friend? More often happens to ladies. They're in the car with their boyfriend who's too macho, and they ask him, "Hey, do you know where you're going? Do you want me to map quest it? Right? Do you want me to turn on the guidance?" And the guy be like, "Nah, I know where I'm going." And then you say, "Are you sure you know where you're going?" And then he says, "I guess." And then what do you instantly know when someone says, "I guess"? What does that mean? What does that mean? Exactly. They don't truly know. If you're guessing, that means you don't know. So many of you guys guess at how to study well. So many of you guys guess at what it takes to get to medical school. So many of you guys guess at what it takes to be excellent. But if you don't know it all, you don't know enough to be confident, then you're just like Ben just said, you're just pretending. Right? And Dana said, now many years after finishing my degree, I realized that I don't remember much. Therefore, I didn't really learn it. I just did enough to get me through the exams, right? And this is what happens, right? This is exactly what happens. And David says not many YouTubers give advice on that. And that's the reality. Is that we assume that a YouTube video is enough. And this is why I hate getting these emails. Do you have any tips? A tip is defined as just a piece. It's not enough to complete the picture to give you the real idea of how to execute. And this happens when you guys prepare for exams, is that people will ask you, are you ready for this exam? And you'll say, I guess. And it's cute, right? It's funny. People think it's cute to say, oh, I guess, I don't know. I think I'm ready, I don't know. I don't know is not cute to me. I guess having my grades, having my future be dependent on a coin flip is not cute to me. That is not cute to me. Does that make sense? That is not cute. I don't get why being unsure is cute. It's like being ditzy. Like that was like popular. Like the movie Clueless is funny, but it's not something to aspire to be, right? The Kardashians, great, they make lots of money, but you shouldn't aspire to be unintelligent, to talk like they do. You should aspire to talk better than them, right? It would be great, yes, to have that money, but have some brain. Exactly. Ben just said it. Hey, doctor, can you do this surgery? I guess. I, I, I'm not sure. I think. I hope. Right? That's the truth. That is the truth. But that's the way we look at it, right? That's how we look at it. We have to have that deep level of understanding. And it starts with raising our expectation of what understanding and what knowledge is. If you want to be an excellent studier, you have to have excellent study knowledge, not just superficial, ditzy knowledge. You want to be the real expert. You want to be having more information than what the other people have. Okay? That's what it's about. As Shawnee said, ditzy equals Kartrashians. Oh, Kartrashians, got him. Heather said, I picked up the 5 Pillars course in time to study for finals. Not only did I get an A on my chemistry exam, but I scored 100% on it. Wow. You said this was my most challenging class this semester. I kind of like that. Elise said it's priced reasonably. I appreciate that, guys. People who are in my courses know it's priced reasonably. It's a lot of effort. But I'm so happy to hear that. Heather is brand new. She just got in the course, so that's positive. So Heather, it's only up from here. It's cool because you'll only get better from here, and that's what's awesome about it. But so start with the expectation, raising the expectation. The second thing is creating the belief that you can meet that expectation. So how many of you guys set a goal? How many of you guys set a goal knowing darn well you can't, you don't believe you can achieve that goal? I'm gonna get A's. I'm gonna get into an Ivy League medical school. But you don't believe you can get there. And David said, any other tips besides things like Pomodoro? I don't teach traditional Pomodoro, first of all, but that's not a tip. Again, I don't teach tips. I teach strategy and systems to get you places. It's the reality. Okay? So the belief factor. If you're setting an expectation and you don't even believe you can get there, you've lost from day one. Because the reason you procrastinate is because you don't believe 100% you can be successful. And that's right, Kat. The doubt remains. If doubt remains, then you won't be fully motivated to get there. And someone asked earlier about intense concentration, how to sustain it, and we're going to get there in 2 seconds. But the reason you can't concentrate intensely and the reason you can't sustain it for long periods of time is because you don't believe fully in your heart that that concentration is going to equal the success you want. Okay? So you have to believe you can get that expectation. And the way we create belief is we create a vision of our change. We create we see the positive that's going to happen when we make this change, and as part of that vision, we have to have the steps. We have to see the path to get to that change. So you have to have a clear-cut way to make the expectation happen. And the classic point and example of this is with studying is if you want an A, you have to have an exact idea of what's going to be on that test. And to do that, you have to be able to synthesize large amounts of complex facts and all these things that are separate. You have to have a way to pull them together and identify the key testable elements that are going to be on that test. And when you can do that, and when you can take whole complex courses and figure out, okay, wait a minute, this is low yield, this is high yield, and you have a system for moving that through and doing that in every single course, and a system that you can repeat and do in every course to simplify things, then you can see the answer. You can see that A coming, and when that A, you see it coming, you can believe it. And then you can rise to expectations, and you can feel that motivation. So for me, I love studying. Sitting down and studying for me is fun because I know if I put this study time in, I'm going to get the A because I see the path to the A. And I mentioned breaking courses down, and in my 5 pillars course, I teach course conceptualization. It teaches you how to take a course and break it down into its testable elements. And so you can create that confidence. Does that make sense? But it's raising the expectation, creating a belief that you can meet that expectation, creating a vision of that change, of how you can actually make that change happen, because that's where the belief comes from, is knowing how you're gonna get there. And then, if you can do all that, the motivation will follow. And when you're motivated, you don't procrastinate. How do you guys procrastinate going to the party? You don't, because you're motivated to get there, right? That's fun. But you're not motivated to study because you're not sure the outcome is gonna be as fun, because it might end up with an F, might end up with a B minus. That's where motivation comes from. If you want to have intense concentration, this is right. So I know you guys. Whoever asked that question, I know you guys. If you want to be the vision of change, if you want to get there and you want to see exactly how to get there, you have to remove the obstacles. Because if you can create this mindset, it's going to move you to action, effective action, eliminating procrastination. And I experienced all these things. I didn't believe in myself. I had low expectations of myself. As a first generation student, I was just hoping to survive my college experience. And so my expectation was, oh, just get a B. Just get a B. Whew, just get a B. And because my expectation was so low, and I didn't really even believe I could get that, my grades slipped. I didn't have a vision for how I was going to get that done. But then once I changed all that, I could get there, I could see it, I was motivated, and then I actually moved to positive action, and it's what changed my study game up. Because I was a bad student. I was the person who felt overwhelmed by things, but I made that shift. And as part of that, it's removing the obstacles. So when we talk about intense concentration, I'm glad someone asked that because that's exactly what I was going to talk about. The biggest problem I see students have is they have an inability to concentrate. Ooh, Taylor, you just wrote a paper on internal locus of control. Will you send that to me, Taylor? I love internal locus of control stuff. So will you send me that paper so I can read it? I'd love to read it, Taylor, if you could send that over. But we have to learn how to remove obstacles. It's not enough to say, oh, obstacle, danger, obstacle, pothole, speed bump. We have to have a way to get past it. Taylor, send it to me. I'm sure it's amazing. We have to have a way to get past that obstacle. How many of you guys see obstacles and you identify them, but you don't create successful ways to get around them? So when we talk about things like low concentration, someone mentioned ADHD earlier. You have concentration deficit issues, right? How many of you guys procrastinate? We have all these things. These are obstacles in your way. How many of you guys fail to identify actual plans for overtaking them? Instead, you just say obstacle, defeat obstacle, defeat obstacle, defeat obstacle, and you're just hitting your head up against a wall instead of having an actual mechanism to get past that obstacle. If that's you, like this video right now. Who is feeling what I'm saying? Are you guys learning so far? Is this a useful video to you guys? Are you guys seeing what we're doing, how we're breaking things down? We're getting deeper and deeper and deeper into, right? We're starting with the problem and we're getting deeper into the simple solution, but the complexity of it and the completeness of the issue. Not just saying, oh, okay, you have poor concentration issues, concentrate more. That's not effective. When they say, oh, just think about concentrating more. That's not effective. Stop procrastinating. That's not effective. Right? And Trenton said, the goal of summer is to change. It is. And that's why we're going to have a summer study success webinar coming up. It's going to be free for everybody. And we're going to talk about how you can use your summer to get prepared for next year. That's going to be a free webinar. The announcement will be coming out for it eventually. Anyway, so we have to remove obstacles. And when it comes to inaction, inactivity, procrastination, and lack of concentration, the factors and the obstacles are very similar. The number one reason you guys procrastinate, you underperform, the reason you guys have poor concentration is because you have sustained and severe sleep deprivation. You guys have sustained and severe sleep deprivation. It starts in high school when they wake you up at an abnormally early hour for a young person and then keep you up at an abnormally late hour as a young person. They sit you in class all day, wear you out. After school, you get home and do homework, and you are working until 10 o'clock at night as a high school student. Therefore, you're left with 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep and your prime brain growing and physical growing years. And so you start your sleep deprivation there. Then you get to college and you get more busy. And not even more busy, but you add the busyness to yourself by having this complex social life, going out late, clubbing, doing different things. And so what happens is, right, all of these things happen. All of these things happen, and we start this cycle of sleep deprivation, which wears our brain down, which wears our concentration down, which wears everything down, and you're only going to get busier and more complex and more sleep deprived. And so high school is sleep deprived, college is sleep deprived. Then you get to medical school, you're sleep deprived. Then you get to residency, you're sleep deprived. Then you mess around and have kids, and you're sleep deprived. And if you guys look at your parents, how many of you guys are your parents? And this is not like slighting your parents, this is everybody. But how many of you guys' parents look worn down? How many of you guys look at your parents like, man, they look like they could sleep for 3 months? Right? You're like, man, woo! Dad, mom, you gotta get some sleep. You look aged. You look fatigued. And the reality is we have this culture where we don't value sleep. But the real truth is the most successful people in the world sleep more than you do. Sleep more than you do. And by valuing their sleep, they can be more effective in their awake hours. Rich, wealthy, successful CEOs, they sleep more than you do. The science shows it. And the reason they sleep more is because they know if I get that sleep, then every minute of my day is going to be more productive. It's going to be worth double what a sleepy hour would be. That's the reality. That is the reality. And Muhammad said all the CEOs sleep 4 to 5 hours. It's not true. It's not true. It's not accurate. Because just like me, I sleep 1 to 2 hours sometimes. But the reality is you can't sustain high level productivity on zero sleep. So Candy said, how do you stay so productive on zero sleep? I substitute with sugary calories. But the reality is it's short spurts. So I can go these couple years with lack of sleep because I was sleeping so robustly in college. And I know soon enough I'm going to be sleeping again robustly. And the other thing is I'm not at your guys' level. When you guys are at the level you're at, where you're taking in complex chemistry, physics, all these things, you're learning all this new information, your brain has to be high level rested. It's the equivalent of reading a Harry Potter book versus reading a physics book. You can read Harry Potter when you're tired because you're not really trying to take it in, retain it. It's not complex. For me, I don't live in a life where I have tests all the time. You guys are gonna be testing all this stuff, so you have to get your rest. Don't follow me. If you guys take my courses, you know I'm all about sleep, right? And I walk you guys through in the course how to improve your sleep, right? Someone just said that I focus heavily on sleep hygiene because there's simple strategies that you can do to improve your sleep. Simple. Like you could be sleep better like this week. Simple strategies. But we have to first identify the importance of sleep and stop treating sleep as a redheaded stepchild. We gotta stop treating sleep like, oh, sleep doesn't matter. Sleep is optional. Sleep doesn't help me. Sleep does help you. You have to change that mind, okay? So removing obstacles. The first thing is get rid of your severe, right, sleep deprivation. Get sleep. The second thing is distractions. Distractions. How many of you guys procrastinate because of distractions? You get an alert, so you procrastinate. Your friend comes by, so you procrastinate. All these things happen, right? Distractions. 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 DB, 8 hours of sleep. Okay? Exactly, Elise. Sleep is for the weak. No one sleeps. I talk about my lack of sleep because I am obsessed, but that doesn't make me, right? Like, you shouldn't be trying to do that, right? But Ben said checking your phone. Okay? You guys have to be prepared to get past these distractions, right? Because when you're distracted, it kills your productivity. Social media, all these things, right? Before I was doing this and trying to reach you guys, I didn't have a social media because I felt like social media, for the most part, was a waste of time. And at this point, I do think most social media you guys do, and even you guys think you're being efficient, right? A lot of stuff you do on social media is not productive. It's procrastination. And so we have to learn to identify these distractions and have steps for overcoming distractions. And it's not hard, but you have to have plans, strategies for overcoming distractions. The third thing is bad people. I don't offer refunds on my courses. Why? Because I want people who are committed and believe and have the expectation that they're going to succeed. Because with the stuff in my courses, there's no excuse for failing. The stuff works. And so the reason I don't offer refunds is because I don't want people saying, oh, you know what, I knew it's not going to work, I want a refund. Because that's an out. I don't want people going in saying, oh, if it doesn't work, I'll just get a refund. I want people who are committed to making it work. Does that make sense? It's a mindset thing. There is no excuses, it's just domination. So what I want people who are committed in the courses. And as part of that, when I sense people are not committed, my first thing to do is, here's a refund. get out of my community, get out of my courses. When I sense that people aren't going to do well. And the reason is because the people you put around you are either going to facilitate your success or they're going to facilitate your failure. And the students I want around me are students who are not bad people, who are students who are going to be positive, who are not going to be trolls to each other, because it makes all the difference for the other students. And that's why the people who are already in my community, they know what's up, right? When you guys come on here, that's why I put the filter on. I want this to be a space where it can be safe, where you can ask your questions, where you don't have to feel stupid, where people don't mistreat you because you want to get better, because you want to admit that you don't know how to study. You want to admit that you don't know how to get to medical school. You want to admit that you feel sad, you feel stressed, you feel overwhelmed. This is a safe space to do that. If you have bad people in your life who aren't supportive of you, you aren't able to express your needs and get the support you need to be better. You have people say, oh, you don't need to study. Oh, you're fine. You can get this. That's not the people you want around you. That's not the people you want. Oh, you'll be fine. You don't have to study. You're good, man. You got it. You got it. Just take a couple hours. You don't want people who are going to offer you tips. You don't want people who are going to offer you shortcuts to short-term success. How many of you guys have friends who say, oh, I'll just teach it to you for the test. Don't worry about it. And they tell you just enough to get you to the test, but then you're screwed the next day. How many of you guys have experienced that? Right? You think your friend is doing you a solid, but really they're doing you a disservice because they're facilitating you. They're facilitating you failing your life. Because it's not just about that course, it's about the MCAT. It's about medical school. It's about your patience. And if you haven't learned this stuff, you're not going to be a successful doctor. And you may not even have the opportunity to become that successful doctor. Does that make sense? I hate study groups. Study groups are the worst. And, right, to understand that, you have to understand how studying works, but study groups, I think, are terrible. Does everybody understand what we're talking about here? I know that this is a long lecture. You guys want 5 minutes and to be a changed student in 5 minutes, but the reality is you can't be a better student in 5 minutes. You need more than 5 minutes. And if you want to get better, this is your opportunity to come out and hang out with me and get more than 5 minutes. Because I could be bathing my kids right now, right? I could be doing that kind of stuff. But I'm here with you, giving you the real, giving you the in-depth. It's not about 5 minutes. It's about more than that to get you better. And Marco said it, study groups are the most inefficient thing ever. So getting rid of the bad people in your life. The fourth thing, and this is a big thing that people hit me with, that I hit people with, that they fight me on. I have a video about cutting negative people out of your life and relationships. I talk about establishing healthy relationships and getting rid of bad relationships in your life. It's on my Facebook page. My Facebook page is the Premed Productive Expert on Facebook. You can go to that page. I have a video talking about how to deal with unsupported parents. I have one video on that. I have another video talking about your inner circle and how to shape your inner circle and your friends to have positive people around you. Okay? But the fourth thing that people often can't grasp is the dependence. One of the major obstacles to your guys' success is your belief in that you are dependent on others for success. You're dependent on a quality teacher, right? We blame the teacher for giving you the bad grade, for being a bad lecturer. Brandon, I'm sorry your dad just died. My condolences to you. We are dependent on other people, and therefore, we are never truly free and independent to be our best. Why? Because if we lose out on those people, if those people aren't there, the absence of those people becomes an insurmountable obstacle for us. When you have a bad teacher, the first week, and you're dependent on the teacher, you recognize in that first week, man, I'm done. I've got no shot at this class because I have a bad teacher. You've made yourself dependent, and therefore you have an insurmountable obstacle. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? People always message me, hey, will you review my personal statement? Hey, will you review my application? Hey, will you do these kind of things? And what I'm always trying to tell people is my courses are not about making you dependent on me or dependent on anybody else. My courses and what I teach you guys is to be your own person and to be independent of yourselves. Does that make sense to everybody? I want you to be independent. And Marco just said it. My courses make it so you can review your own personal statement. And I'm going to share with you guys. So I get wonderful emails from you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up really quickly. This is from Victor. He sent me, what day is this? This is 3 days ago. So Victor sent me this message. I'm going to read it to you guys. You guys ready to hear this? So Victor is a student who emailed me. This is what you guys did, and I'm so glad that Victor took this leap. Victor emailed me, sent me his personal statement, and was like, hey, can you review this for me and give me some tips? And so I was just in the mood. I had some time that day. So I opened up Victor's personal statement. I read Victor's personal statement, and I replied to him, and I said, Victor, I hate your personal statement. I think it's awful. I think it's terrible. I think you have major improvements to do because your personal statement doesn't do what a personal statement should. And I said, Victor, you don't even know the function and the purpose of a personal statement, which is why your personal statement sucks. And I said that back to him. And I said, if you want a quality personal statement, get in my course, How to Dominate the Medical School Application and the Personal Statement. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? I said, get in the course. It will make it so that you can write your personal statement. And then he responded back to me, well, wait, will you review it? I said, you won't need me to review it after you take the course. Take the course. And he was like, I don't know if I can afford it. I said, take the course. Take the course. So now he sent me this email 3 days ago. And he said, Dr. Andre. So the title of his email is Night and Day Difference. Okay? And it says, Dr. Andre. So I purchased your course. I watched the videos and rewrote my personal statement. I abandoned the look at all the cool stuff I've done in chronological order approach and used blank, 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 blank. And he goes into the strategies I talked about and breaking it down. I think it's much more medically relevant and much closer to what they're looking for. Honestly, I totally nailed it. I attached a new version if you want to see the difference your coaching makes. Thanks and keep up the good work. And he sent me this email 3 days ago. And so I read the personal statement, and guys, it's so freaking fire. It's so freaking fire. I get excited because it's all his work. I didn't have to review his personal statement. He didn't need me to go through. It's wonderful. He wrote it. He took my guidance and he made himself independent. And now he's an independent. He could probably charge people to write their personal statements. That's how baller it is. It's 3 days ago. I'll pull it up here on the screen. No, I won't do that. I don't want you guys to know his real name. But it's Victor, but not the Victor who's on here with us. But that's the objective, is that independence factor, right? Making you guys independent so that way you guys aren't having that obstacle of needing me. What if I'm not available? What if I can't read your personal statement that week? Then you're out of luck, right? What if you can't get to your tutor that week because your tutor's out of town? Then you're out of luck. That's an obstacle that's insurmountable. Independence, guys. Believing in independence. And to do all of these things, right? To remove obstacles, get our mindset right, we have to understand that all things, right? All these things, they take an understanding of what's right and what's wrong. What's right and what's wrong. And this is why you guys get so easily led astray by people on the internet trying to sell you things or tell you tips, because you don't know what right is and what wrong is. And I forget the exact exact quote, but it's something to the effect of once you've tasted the truth, then the lies are too sour to bear or something like that. But it's essentially like once you've tasted the truth, like your eyes are opened and you can't stomach falsehoods and lies and BS anymore. Once you've had the truth, you can't go back. And it's obvious. And if you guys look at my streams, my students are on here. They're getting new information because I don't repeat the same things, but they're on here because they believe in what we're doing. People who are in my courses, no one says I cheated them out of money. I don't cheat people out of money. I provide value to people to help them be better. And that's why I have tremendous care for my students. I don't have to do a weekly webinar leading up to the application for the next two months. I'm doing that because you guys asked for it, right? I said my replay of my webinar from last week was only going to be available for 3 days. People said, hey, I can't get to it. I have finals. I said, sure, let me help you out. I don't have to do this stuff. But it's about adding value. It's not about cheating people. It's not about swindling people, taking you into the abyss of who the freak am I? You don't know who I am, what you're getting, and you get in there, and it's all garbage. It's these YouTube videos pasted into a course. It ain't that. It's entirely different and distinct. It's about providing value to everyone. Thank you, Marco. Anyone saying is blank course worth it? Just buy it. It's the truth, guys. Nobody's being paid for any of this stuff. It's just the truth, right? So Jennifer, you must come on late. I had a bunch of announcements earlier today. I'm sending out the replay link for the webinar tomorrow to you guys. All right. The course giveaway is happening right now. And the course I'm giving away is how to double your study efficiency. And the reason I want to start doing these course giveaways is because I think it's important. So Victor just said, I spent 5 months watching all of his videos and started watching the live streams. Last week I purchased my first course and I literally wish I had done it sooner. Yeah, right? That's the sentiment. But the reason I want to start doing these course giveaways is because in these videos, I tell you guys, I can't get you all the way there. I'm going to get you further in these videos than other people are getting you in their YouTube videos. But I can't get you all the way there in these videos. So what I want to do is facilitate people getting into the truth, getting into the deeper knowledge that is my courses. And so by having these giveaways, it allows people to have their eyes opened to the freaking truth. And like I said, once you taste the truth, I don't know what the quote is. If someone can post it here so I know what the quote is. Once you taste that truth, you can't stomach the bitterness of bull stuff. Because the truth is too sweet. It's too real, it's too honest to go to the rest. Okay? And this course, How to Double Your Study Efficiency, is the first pillar. Well, I'm not calling anybody out. Everybody's their own person, right? And whoever is whoever. I'm not going to, people keep posting that same name up here for who's selling a terrible study course right now, and I'm not commenting on it, right? I have said what I will say about things. But the honest truth is everyone knows where the truth is and where the truth isn't. And Marco's calling him out. And we can say his name, right? It's Dr. Buck. Dr. Buck is great entertainment for YouTube. You guys should all go subscribe to his channel, watch all of his videos. Hear him curse for 10 minutes straight and make you laugh, all that kind of stuff. Great. Everyone should go subscribe to Dr. Buck's channel. But Dr. Buck is not a studying expert. So you should not be learning how to study from Dr. Buck. That's the reality. It's up to you however you want to spend your dollars. That course ain't going to get you where you want to go. That's all I'm saying. So go watch him. He's funny. He's entertaining. So everyone go subscribe. Watch all of his videos. But recognize the truth versus what else is out there. The truth What else is out there? Okay. My How to Double Your Study Efficiency course walks you through changing your mindset. It walks you through breaking down all of the obstacles in your way that prevent you from being an efficient studier. That's why it allows you to double your study efficiency, because you've removed all the barriers to you actually getting the job done. Furthermore, right, this course is the first pillar of the 5 pillars in my 5 pillars of studying less and getting better grades. And I just want to say this. If my first pillar can double your study efficiency, imagine what all 5 pillars can do. Yes? And what's interesting about that, right, is I get emails from students. It never fails. And the first thing they say about my W study efficiency course is, man, this stuff is so simple. I feel like I should have known this. It's so simple. But that simplicity has allowed me to do X, right? Has allowed me to do this and allowed me to be better and do all these type of things. And it was hilarious because, again, this is now 4 days ago. So 3 days ago was my application course. 4 days ago, for my How to Double Your Study Efficiency course, Michael sent me an email and said, Dr. Pinesett, I just finished your How to Double Your Study Efficiency course, and it was a real eye-opener. I just finished my master's degree, and now I'm returning to undergrad to finish up my prerequisites for medical school. After all my years of school and watching many of your videos on YouTube, I thought I had the whole studying thing figured out. But I learned so much from your course. I would love to get the 5 Pillars course to continue learning everything there is to know about studying. I also have purchased the MCAT course, the front and bottom of the Premed pack from Stanford Medical School in 21 days course. I can't get enough. Thank you for all you do, and I'm looking forward to being a part of your community. No excuses, just dominate. That's my first pillar of all 5 pillars. The truth, okay? This is the course. This is the course that I'm giving away to you guys right now. A course that can double whoever gets its study efficiency. Who is ready? Joyce said, I'm in the 5 Pillars course and I'm shook. It's awesome. I love it. Shook. Okay. Who's ready? Who wants to win my How to Double Your Study Efficiency course? How do we win? How do we win? Here's how you win. You must have commented on this video at some point. Additionally, you must like this video. If you have not liked this video, you cannot win. And you must have liked this video by the time I make a selection right now. So if you have not already, you better like this video. Oh, look at all those likes coming in last minute. You busters. Should have already liked this video. Look at you busters trying to win a course, right? Like the video. You must have commented on this video. Okay. Additionally, I'm going to announce the winner right now. Okay. That winner must take the course and rock the world. Because you should rock the world. So I'm excited to give it away to everybody. Everybody's gonna be intense. Who's gonna win, right? This course. Everyone. These live streams are amazing. If you like these live streams, please take a second and share these live streams on your social media. Just take a second. It takes 10 seconds to copy the link and share it on your social media and say, listen, guys, if you want to sip from the truth, here it is. Additionally, if you guys want to really get to be your best, get into a course. All right? So here's what we're going to do for the winner. I'm going to quickly roll the chat upwards and downwards a whole bunch, and whoever's name I land on will get that course. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Okay, and Louis just said, what if you don't have the money to get a course? I have a course that's $16. If you who can't afford $16? Here we go. Are we ready? Way up, way down, way up, way down, way down, way up, rolling it, up and down. Woo, 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 woo. Who does it land on? Izzy. I don't know who Izzy is. Izzy, Izzy, you have just won How to Double Your Study Efficiency. Who is Izzy? I don't know who Izzy is. If Izzy's not here to claim it, she has lost. Or he has lost if it's a guy. And then we're going to roll it again because Izzy didn't hang out with us. Oh, Izzy's going to cry tomorrow. Izzy's going to cry tomorrow. Oh, Izzy. How could she just leave? Oh, Izzy's here. Okay. Okay, Izzy. Send me an email right now, Izzy, and you got that course. And this is so. What's so funny is I'm going to say this, and everybody's going to think, "Oh, I can just email him and say I'm Izzy." So I have a way of knowing exactly who everyone who's on here is. This is the beauty of the internet. So if you try to send me your email and say you're Izzy, I know you're not Izzy. I know exactly who Izzy is. I'm going to look it up in a second. I know exactly who Izzy is. But Izzy, send me an email. That's how you confirm that you're on here and that you want that course. Izzy, you've got how to double your study efficiency so that way you can become a better studier. In addition, who else wants to become a better studier? Someone said, can you please do another giveaway? Every week, I'm going to be giving away different courses. Today was my How to Double Your Study Efficiency course. The course is only 65 bucks. It's an affordable course, but I'm giving it away. Other weeks, I'm giving away my $500 courses. It just depends on what we're talking about. It'll be relevant to what we're talking about. So Izzy just won the How to Double Your Study Efficiency course. The course is 65 bucks. Okay? For everyone who's on here, right, I want to reward you guys and give you guys an opportunity to hop in. If you guys go to my website right now, it's premedproductivity.com. Everyone for the next 4 hours can receive 10% off of that course, How to Double Your Study Efficiency, with the code IMPROVEMENT. Because what we're trying to do is improve our studying. So if you enter the code in the promo code box, IMPROVEMENT, you can get the How to Double Your Study Efficiency course for 10% off. Only for the next 4 hours. That's it. Because I want more people who are actually on here with us and who took the time to be here on their Sunday and give up some of their Sunday to be with us live. So IMPROVEMENT, one word, is the code. It's 10% off How to Double Your Study Efficiency. If you guys have been waiting, stop waiting. Get a course. Just get the course. Right? And this course is included in the 5 Pillars course. It's the first one. And what people don't recognize is, right, I reward people who hang out with me, right? You guys hang out with me, so you get free courses, discounts, all that kind of stuff. Once you're in my courses, I give you discounts on other courses. So I see people say, oh, well, I don't want to get that course, so I'm saving up for the 5 Pillars course. If you get that course, I'll discount the 5 Pillars course. So I never want to double charge you, right? That would be absurd, right? I don't double charge my students. So I always create opportunities for them to get the discounts. So the 5 Pillars course, the way I keep the cost down on my courses is that not every course does everything. So I have study courses, and then I have medical school admissions courses, and I have an MCAT course. The 5 Pillars course includes the How to Double Your Study Efficiency. That 5 Pillars course of studying is not inside of the How to Dominate Premed course. The How to Dominate Premed course breaks down all the questions you guys have about, should I do a post-bac? What is my GPA? How do I do research? All these things are covered in the How to Dominate Premed and the Medical School Application course. I have a separate course for my people who are applying right now and don't care about navigating pre-med successfully, don't want to know how to get like all the things and all the extracurriculars accomplished efficiently. You can get into, Rebecca, thank you for buying that course. Woo! Right? You can get into my How to Dominate the Application course. That course is included in my How to Dominate Pre-Med course, but it's also separate at a lower price for people who just want to focus on the application and the personal statement. So you have two options. So take a second, guys. When you're on my website, read the descriptions and see what's going on. Because what I've done is I've included pieces, right? So the application and personal statement, I feel like more impactfully is knowing how to actually build the resume to be able to sell on your application. So my How to Dominate Premed course walks you through actually how to premed and all the decisions about premed. And included in that is the application and personal statement. But for some of you guys who just want the application and personal statement, it's separate. Yes? What to buy to help study for the GRE. So eventually I'm going to come out with a GRE specific course. But what I would say is get into my MCAT course. I have GRE students, GMAT students, DAT students. I have all sorts of students, NCLEX students in that MCAT course. And the reason it's so effective is because it's teaching you how to study for large standardized tests like that. Yes? And then Jessica said, what if we want to buy the definitive guide after the application says personal statement guide? Then you can do that, and then I would discount it for you. So you're not going to ever double pay. No one ever double pays in my courses. It's not how we work. So Sam, did that make sense? So if you buy How to Double Your Study Efficiency and then you later want to get the 5 pillars, you just email me like Michael did, right? So Michael took my first pillar, wants the 5 pillars. So he sent me that email and I said in response to him, hey, no problem. It's so awesome to hear that. Here, you can get blank discount with blank discount code. Does that make sense? And it covers more than the cost of the first pillar. So he's saving money actually by doing that. And Candy, I do have a motivational course. It's called From the Bottom Premed Pack to Stanford Medical in 21 Days. And it talks about getting your motivation in line. Additionally, all my courses come with introductions that get you motivated and get you going. And I'm going to come out, I actually have in development. So I have a ton of courses coming out. Over the next, in 2018, the second half of 2018, I have a medical school domination course coming out. I have a GRE specific course coming out. I have a step 1 specific course coming out. I have what's called the 5 P's of motivation course coming out. So I'll have a motivation course coming out for you guys. I have a parent course that's going to teach parents how to work with their young students. I have a ton of courses coming out that are specific to things. So that's coming down the pipe. Always more stuff to come. Okay? But get in things now. Yes, a parent course, Elizabeth. Yes, a parent course. I'm co-putting that together with my wife because if you guys don't know my wife, she's a behavior analyst. So she has made me the well-behaved person I am today, and she's actually responsible for shaping children's behavior. And so we're putting it together. Yes, so Rebecca, so my wife and I actually we're going to do a course. It'll be a really like affordable course, but my wife and I are also going to do a couples podcast possibly to kind of bring you guys some stuff so we can talk about relationships. 'Cause I think that's a big thing, right? We talk about getting rid of bad people in your life, but having a really successful, effective relationship goes a long way towards getting you there. Okay? So Lisa, you're 16. First, get in from the bottom of the pre-med pack to Stanford Medical School in 21 days. And then, right, once you go from there, get in the study course. At 16, all the other stuff is irrelevant. Learn how to study. Learn how to study. And then Carlos, the 5 pillar sign up will be at the bottom where it says exclusive webinars. That's where the webinar link will be for the flashcard. Okay? And for people who are talking about webinar replays, that means you weren't here in the beginning. Go back to the beginning of this video after we're done here and watch. I made a whole thing about announcements. I won't announce them again. Okay? All right. So, question. So Taylor asks, how do we prove we have shadowed physicians later on when we are applying? So that's a very simplistic question, but it's a question a lot of students don't ask themselves. And to understand how to answer that question, you have to understand what the purpose of shadowing is. And when you understand what the purpose and the function of shadowing is, you can then execute shadowing. And one aspect of shadowing that is very important is getting a letter of recommendation. Because the letter of recommendation proves that you shadowed and that your shadowing was meaningful. And there's a couple other objectives you should be trying to do with your shadowing that are covered in my course, How to Dominate Premed, because we walk through how to successfully shadow and make the most of shadowing opportunities. But How do you prove you shadowed? You get letters of recommendation from the people you shadowed. But that's very important. I see some people say, "Oh yeah, I shadowed all these doctors." I'm like, "Well, do you have letters of recommendation?" No. Well, then if you don't have a letter of recommendation, it didn't happen. Alrighty. Berdaz, the answer to your question is yes. So this is actually that's a great question. So Mernaz just asked, is working on journal publications a waste of time since poster publications are so easy to get? Exactly. So many of you guys spend so much time working to get that journal publication, not recognizing the difference between a journal publication and a poster publication is minute or small. Especially since most of you guys aren't publishing in Nature. You're publishing in Bob's Journal of Crazy Student Science. So in my course, I teach you how to actually get a poster publication in 30 days. It's not hard to do. You can get a published poster in 30 days. I teach you guys how to do that in the How to Dominate Pre-Med course. But Mernaz's question is, and she asked that question because she's in the course, is that it's much more efficient. We're about being efficient, right? It's not just getting there, it's about how you get there efficiently. Poster presentations are way better than journal publications because journal publications take much longer. Therefore, you're going to have fewer of them than if you were to do poster publications, where you can get 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 poster publications and fill out an activity section as opposed to saying, oh, I have one journal article in a journal of garbage nuts, right? And Mernaz said, what if it's a top ophthalmology journal? So that's different, right? So if you're going to be in the top journal, then do that. But you should also be working effectively to get a ton of poster presentations. And that's a good point. So Zach just said it. So if you guys don't remember, Zach was out here a couple weeks ago, and I messed around. I was trying to go to his poster presentation to support him, and security dragged me out the building, y'all. I was stealth, but I didn't remember. And this is me not being thorough. Zach had sent me the exact location of his talk, and I didn't read the exact location. I just went to the actual building, and so I'm like searching the building, trying to dodge security. Security got me, took me out the building, and didn't let me see Zach present. But Zach said he got an amazing response to his poster, and he was very thorough. And just talking to Zach, so Zach's a PhD student, but just talking to Zach, you can tell he's got his stuff together. And I like working with students who have their stuff together. So we sat down and had a drink and had a nice conversation, went over his personal statement. But you have to be able to present your stuff well. You have to be able to present yourself well if you want to be successful in research and also be successful when it goes into getting into medical school. And second author on a poster is okay, but you need to have primary authorship on posters. That's where you really want to go, where you really want to be. Elise said, what is the lowest GPA you have coached and dominated? So that's a hard question because it depends on where you catch people. But the lowest GPA that someone has come to me with, and has since we got into medical school, was a 2.3. That's the lowest GPA I've ever had someone have and come to me and get into medical school. And the reason that happens is because the time it takes to go from anything lower than that is so long that most people won't do it. But I've had someone with a 2.3 GPA who I've coached, and they've gotten to medical school. And that may sound crazy, but you guys remember, right? I don't cherry pick, right? So my services are so cheap that most people can afford them, right? So low income, disadvantaged students can afford them. So many of the students I work with have suboptimal GPAs, have suboptimal extracurriculars. They have a lot of work to do. And that's why when people ask me, like, well, how do I know your strategy is going to work? It's like, because I made myself a below average student, someone who got into Stanford. I made myself a below average studier into a super studier who not only got into Stanford, but dominated Stanford grades wise and dominated step one. That's how good I became of a studier. And to go from that to the great studier I am took real live strategies that work. And that's why I know my 5 pillars is awesome. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's what it is, right? Going from whoever you are as a pre-med, right? I was told that I was an average pre-med and I would never get into medical school. I wasn't exceptional. So to go from that to someone who did all the things required, had all the extracurriculars to know, not only did I get into Stanford, UCLA, like I can list off all the places I got into. Every place I applied to, I got into except for UCSF, because UCSF hates me. Forget those guys. But the point is if I could take myself from mediocre to that, it took lots of work and understanding of the process. I'm an expert in the whole process, not just of what's on the application, but how to actually get to having a successful application. And so that's how I know my strategies and my stuff will work for you. So if you want to learn that. People talk about my coaching options. I don't even do one-on-one coaching anymore. If you haven't already signed up for my one-on-one coaching, I've actually taken it off my website because at this point, there's no reason you need one-on-one coaching from me. There's no reason you need me to review your application or your personal statement because I've taught you how to be your own application, personal statement, pre-med expert. I've given you all the tools to make your own decisions in my course, How to Dominate Pre-Med and the Medical School Application. You don't need coaching from me. As I just read the guy's personal statement, when he was talking about his personal statement, that's him taking the course. He doesn't need me to coach him. And by doing that, he paid a couple $100s for a course that saved him paying thousands of dollars to someone who pretends to have the knowledge I have about the application. Does that make sense? Everybody good there? That's right, Izzy. UCSF is kicking themselves in the butt for that one. So Junior, the code, you have to click purchase, and then once you click purchase, you go to checkout, and then you can enter the code there. And I'm actually, this is right, there's always room for improvement. So for you guys who are already in courses, you guys are gonna see in the coming month that the entire interface of the courses is gonna change, be much more interactive, much more dynamic. The discussion board will come to life and all these things. I'm revamping everything behind the scenes. So you guys notice there's been a lot of glitches with the courses in terms of people being unenrolled from courses and enrolled in courses. I apologize for that. Email me if you've lost access to a course. It's because I'm behind the scenes tinkering with a lot of things and the interface will be completely remodeled. Additionally, when you guys go to purchase courses, it's confusing for people on how to get the payment plans, how to enter discounts, all kind of things. I want to make it simple for you guys. Therefore, you guys, I'm changing that whole process for you guys. So Darren said, if we sign up for a payment plan, can we cancel if we're not satisfied with the course? No, you can't. Once you sign up for a payment plan, you are on that payment plan. That's what it is. And that's why it's important. Don't sign up for my courses if you're unsure. This is not for me to trick you in. I don't want to convince you. Do not sign up for one of my courses if you don't want it. If you don't want it, don't sign up. Only sign up because you want it. Because I'm not going to be giving you your money back. I'm telling you right now. Only come across that bridge if you're ready for it. If you're not ready to be great, don't do it. Do not do it. If you get on a payment plan, do the payment plan. But understand you're locked in for those payments. I want people who have the high expectation and who believe it. And yeah, I just saw your payment come through. You're fine. Don't worry. Send me, let's see. Yeah, so don't worry. I'll give you the 10% back. I'll credit to you right now. No worries, Deisha. No problem. You're my wingman. Remember, I can't let you hang out there and overpay for the course. Rebecca said, how long is anesthesia residency for me? Residency for me total is 4 years, 3 years of straight anesthesia. Woo! Elisa said, I'm about to purchase a course for the study efficiency. All right. Yes, I have free trials of some courses, but the free trial is me. I'm here every week. If you don't like what you're getting, don't get a course. How could you need any more of a free trial? You see, I'm here every week with you guys, right? Monthly payments are available at the bottom of the page, all right? No, I'm not going to do a fellowship, Casey. I'm not going to do a fellowship. Why? Because between me and you guys, I love doing this too much. And this is what I talk about, like, right? You've always people out here trying to advise you, but they're not full-time. They're not invested in this. When I'm not with you guys on here, I'm working to get more stuff for you guys. I'm full-time in this. I'm invested in this and having my expertise. So I think the bulk of what I'm going to do, I've actually been offered a couple faculty positions. I think I'm going to take a dean's position somewhere, possibly. We can see if we can work it out. Or I might take a medical director position somewhere. And then I'm going to be doing this full-time, bringing you guys high-end courses to help you guys be your best. Bringing you guys that insider information you guys need to excel and get ahead. So I think I don't need to do a fellowship because I'm not interested in doing that. I'm interested in fellowshipping how to make students better. How to make students better. Killer Master said, if you couldn't go to Stanford, where would you go instead? So if I couldn't go to Stanford, you know where I would go? It would be one of two places. Right? If I didn't choose Stanford, and actually the place I was deciding between when I was actually applying, there were three places I was deciding between. Stanford, UCLA, and Yale were my final three. And UCLA, I had a weird experience there. I didn't really like it. Plus, I'm not that city. I don't like how city LA is, so I didn't want to be in LA. And then it was Yale and Stanford. And what I liked about both Yale and Stanford was the flexibility of the curriculums, and that they both have non-mandatory classes. They don't grade you in the courses because they recognize that it doesn't matter. It's about collective and having people feel good about learning the information. And so I was deciding those two places, and what the deal breaker was that Yale was freezing cold. And I'm so West Coast, it's hard for me to go. Like, people are like, oh, don't you appreciate seasons? No, I don't appreciate seasons. I appreciate sunshine. I like sunshine. I like my flip flops. I like going outside 365 days a year. I don't want no snow. I don't need no snow. And so that was the deciding factor for me. Um, in terms of what medical schools I think are doing an exceptional job, I think Harvard is amazing. If you get an opportunity to go there, you should go there. I think, of course, Stanford does amazing things. And I think I think any school can do great things for you, but it's about finding places that are going to support you and have what you need to get ahead. So I think people get hung up on, oh, I got to go Ivy League. You don't have to go Ivy League to be successful, to be a great doctor, to be a great student, all these things. You just have to go somewhere where that has the resources to support you in what you need to be great. Yeah, Murnaz. Yes, I am hosting. So that information is coming out too. So here's the crazy thing. I'm actually going to be moving again. I've moved every year of residency. I said I wasn't going to move, and we're actually moving again. But it's probably going to be later in the summer to give everybody time to make their arrangements. But yes, we're going to have a big weekend retreat at my house, and it's probably going to be August. So early August, everyone who's in my courses, you're totally invited to come down to my house. Everybody can hang out, eat food, meet my family. We're going to commune. We're going to have a whole weekend of learning and getting better. And all this stuff is going to be, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. So that announcement will be coming soon as I figure out my living situation, to make sure I'm not homeless at that point. But in August, yes, all my students, if you're in my courses, you're my student, right? We're family. So you guys can all come out to my house and hang out. I'm gonna make some good food. I'm gonna make some food. I don't know if it's gonna be good food. You know, I'll tell you a sad story. I love grilling. I'm not the greatest griller, but I like grilling, right? I like being outside, sunshine. We just talked about this. I like grilling. And so I thought I was gonna be nice. And I had a barbecue at my apartment at Stanford, in medical school. And one of my good buddies now, he's one of my best friends. I'm actually going to be groomsman at his wedding next month, is my man Ryan Lowry. And he actually is getting married to one of my co-Stanford medical students. And I invited him and her and some other couples over to my home. Yeah, Shannon, we will be honest about who's making the food. But let me tell my story, Shannon. You remember this. And so everyone came over to my house. I'm going to barbecue some meats. And so I'm barbecuing, and it just so happened that when I was barbecuing, the Lakers were on, and I'm a big Laker fan. And so I got a little distracted with the grill. I got a little distracted with the grill because I was watching my Lakers, and I may have cooked the meat a little longer than I should have. And so because of that, everyone was acting all snobby about how my meat was burnt, and they were calling me well done for a good long while. My code name was well done because I burnt the food. And I'm like, that's not right. I invited y'all over here out of the goodness of my heart and got y'all food, and you call me well done. It's not right. So because of that, I say I'll be grilling up some food. But in actuality, my wife is an amazing cook, and she's on here right now. You hear her. She's going to be cooking for us. It's just I'm domesticated at this point. I'm sorry. So yeah, way to go. Well done. Exactly. So Shannon will be preparing food for us. So that way it's all edible and you guys can actually get fed. So Shannon will be making food for us. I'll be feeding your brains. While she's feeding your stomach, I'll be feeding your brains. And so we're going to have a bunch of different little seminars and sessions and question answers things to help you guys get ready for the school year. That'll be in August for you guys to come on over to my house and hang out and chill. So someone said, come to Maine. Hey, I've always wanted to come out to schools, but you guys got to arrange it and set it up and contact me. So if you want me to come out to your school, send me an email. And I know some of you guys have emailed me. Chris actually emailed me a couple weeks ago about coming out to his school. I'm behind in emails, I know, but I'm gonna get to you. If you want to have me come out, oh Casey, don't do me like that. Talking about Shannon should give Andre a course on cooking. Oh, daggers to my heart. But if you want me to come out, Jessica, no, UC Berkeley's not too far. I just came back from the East Coast 2 weeks ago. So Berkeley's not too far. I've spoken at Berkeley quite a few times, actually. So I actually like Berkeley because they have, Berkeley has, Shannon, what's the cinnamon roll place in Berkeley called? There's like a gluten free, there's like a made to order cinnamon roll place in Berkeley that is incredible. And they have like all the different frostings and stuff. What is the place called? Who knows what the place is called? Oh, Candy, the Five Pillars of Grilling, hosted by Shannon. Terrible. Cinnaholic. Yes, Nina. Cinnaholic. If you guys have never had Cinnaholic, I don't get a kickback for this. Cinnaholic is bomb. Cinnamon rolls are hot. They have all kind of different frostings. They have gluten free, vegan free. Yeah, all that stuff. It's incredible. And the line is like out the door, but the cinnamon rolls are so good. So Cinnaholic in Berkeley is real good. Um, this Nightbot is serious about the caps. You guys get excited about stuff, put the caps, and this bot is like boxing you out. And they just box Nina out for getting excited about Cinnaholic. So if you guys want me to call to your school, definitely send me an email. We can arrange something, set something up. All right, I gotta go. We gotta go. Oh, you got one in Vegas? By the way, Vegas people, I want to come out to Vegas soon. Oh yes, Jenny's got the money for my course. Woo! Got your stipend. Get in there. So I've got to go because I have a pediatric. I have a day of pediatric cases tomorrow, and I talked about last night. If you guys missed that live stream last night, I was on my 24-hour call doing ICU and trauma, and I talked about what doing ICU and trauma is like. And it's very nerve wracking, but I feel very calm and expert in it. And I've worked with kids, but working with kids. Kids' anesthesia is scary. They are little, they are tiny, they are fragile, they are frail, all that stuff. So it's very nerve wracking to do. So I need to actually review up and know my patients very well so I can take the best care of them tomorrow. So I got to get off here real quick. And I'm going to be sending out the flashcard webinar link. Now it's probably so late. Tomorrow, flashcard webinar link, replay, the application webinar, all kind of good stuff coming at you guys tomorrow. I have stuff I have to do for my actual job. People keep asking. Stop asking this stuff. What questions? What courses? What order? How to dominate pre-med? How to from the bottom of the pre-med pack to Stanford Medical School. 21 days is the first one. It's $16. Get in it to get your mind ready for the rest of it. It's also a cheap way to get a sample so you can see just how different my courses are from what my YouTube is. The level of depth we're going to. From that $16 course, your level of depth will be expanded already. Then do the studying course, the 5 pillars of studying unless you're getting better grades. If you can't afford that one, do how to double your study efficiency, which is the first of those 5 pillars. Then learn what you have to do. Excuse me. Learn what you have to do to get into medical school. So, yes, the webinar flashcards on Thursday. Learn what you do to get into medical school. So then take the How to Dominate Pre-Med and the medical school application, the definitive guide. So that way you can learn how to navigate pre-med. If you're already at the application stage, then just do the application course, how to dominate the application. And then when it's time for MCAT, do the MCAT course. And then after you do your application that's incredible, you do all this stuff, now you're ready to interview, take the how to dominate the interview course. And then by the fall, once you get into medical school, you'll be able to take my how to dominate medical school course. So that way you guys can learn the secrets that I go out and I teach to medical students now. I go out to all these medical schools and I teach these medical students how to survive and thrive in medical school and how to dominate their step one. I'm going to roll that out in a course to you guys, to teach you guys. That way you guys, throughout your whole journey, you can stay with me and you can have the specific strategies you need so you don't have to go elsewhere. You can be your own expert through me. Does that make sense? All right. Everybody! Woo! Okay? Everybody. Oh, so how was the book I was reading last week? Which one was I reading last week? Oh, I haven't finished reading it. No. So I haven't had a chance to get into that. This week has been crazy. And so this week I actually was reading a different book. I was going back. So there's some books that I keep that I like to re-review and reread. And so someone mentioned earlier about getting your mindset right in meditation. And so a book that I was rereading a little bit this week. You can see the wear and tear on this book. Um, is Joy on Demand. If you guys haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. Um, right? Joy on Demand, The Art of Discovering the Happiness Within. It's written by an engineer. So it's an engineer who realized how important mindfulness is. And so there's lots of great information in here. So actually, I was, I was feeling a little stressed out, a little overwhelmed this week. And so I wanted to kind of get back into my mindfulness and my meditation. And so I wanted to reference this a little bit this week. So I was going back in here and clarifying up some of the things I'm doing to improve my mindfulness and my meditation. What I'll do is I'll post a link to this book in the box below. But the author's name is Chade Ming Tan. Chade Ming Tan. And I'll post a link on Amazon in the box below. Um, but yeah, and in the 2 a.m. case, you guys want to hear? So, oh gosh, I'm trying to get out of here. All right, real quick. If you guys missed the stream from last night, I was in the ICU. I was doing trauma, and so I had a heart-wrenching, heartbreaking case that was crazy. I'm so tired. I don't know. Do you guys want to hear this? If you guys want to hear it, I'll tell it. But let me make sure you guys actually want to hear it. Okay. Everybody's saying yes. So, before I had kids, I always had a soft spot for kids. But now that I have kids, I have an especially soft spot for kids because when I see kids, I compare them to mine and I look at them and I see them as little people. And I'm like, man, my kid is that age or that size or will be that size. And so last night I'm working trauma slash critical care, and there was a kid who came in, and the kid came in with burns to 80% of their body. And the 80% of the burns came from an iron. Now let's hear this. This kid is 3, barely older than my kid. And it came into the trauma bay with 80% burns over their body. That's most of their body. From like an iron like you use for your clothes. Now everyone keep this in mind, right? An iron isn't big enough to cover 80% of a 3-year-old's body. So what do you guys think happened? Yeah, exactly. Not an accident. So this baby came in, man. It was a baby. 80% total body surface, and like not like shallow burns, like deep, like you're holding the iron in place on this child. 80% of their body, kids barely alive, and it's amazing how resilient kids are and how tough they are. If that was an adult, they would have been dead. But it was just awful. And when you're in medicine, you see terrible stuff like this. That was hard for me to. It made me want to vomit. It was like the smell and the look, and then the kid's face and the terror and it was just like the whole aspect of it, and the mom who's trying to pretend to be concerned, and it's just like the whole thing where like everybody knows what you did, and so the whole aspect of it, it just like you recognize that there are so many bad people in the world. There are so many bad things that happen in the world, and it makes you recognize that, man, life is too short for bad people, for bad vibes, for all this bad stuff. And it's happening with me right now, right? I mentioned I have to move, right? And I have to move because my landlord is a shady, terrible person. And she's raising our rent the maximum that's allowable by the law simply because she wants to gouge us for money. And it's the same way with this young child. It's like you recognize there's so many bad people in the world. How do you burn a defenseless child? Like, how can that be pleasurable to you to repeatedly, tss, 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 like all these things awful? And there's just so many things that happen in life that make you recognize that, man, people are cruel, people are terrible, and people will do anything to swindle you and to cheat you and to berate you and to bring you down and to ruin lives. And so that's why it's so important to me to try to bring positivity and try to teach you guys that, listen, you don't have to be jealous of other people. You don't have to be malicious to other people. You don't have to try to cheat people. You can be good to people. But if we want to have a good world and want people to be good to other people, we have to start somewhere. That's why I'm like my kid. You guys always see it. I don't like when my kid comes in here. I can be like, "Get out of here, kid." I don't do that because it starts at home. My kid wants to come in here, and I can be like, "Listen, I'm on stream. Get out of here." I say, "Come on, sit on my lap, hang with me. I love you," because it starts there. By saying, "I love you, kid. I love you," and saying, "I love you" to people who are around you, right? When people see me out, right? Denisha was there on Friday, and we were cracking up because we were hugging. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a hugger. I get Elizabeth a hug." I'm like, we're your huggers around here. I hug people because that's important to feel that embrace. That, listen, I may not know you, but I feel your spirit. I feel your vibe. It's a positivity. Let's hug, right? You've got to be that positivity in this world of cruel ass people, right? Someone's got to break this cycle of negativity and of cruelty. And it starts with yourself and recognizing when you're being cruel, recognizing when you're trying to, right, like it tripped me out. I was talking to a waitress a while ago, and when people don't recognize, when you skip, like people try to skip out on the bill at places. When you skip out on the bill, you know who pays that? The waitress. You think, oh, I'm sticking it to the man, this waitress, right? Or if I walk out of the grocery store with this food, I'm sticking it to the grocery store. It's like, no, you're sticking it to the individual, to that waitress who's just trying to get by. When you don't tip, that's the waitress you're cheating. It starts there. This waitress will say, yeah, even if someone dies and dashes, I have to pay for that. And we've had people get fired for having people die and dash. And it's like, recognize the cruelty that you do in this world. When you have opportunities to be nice and do the right thing, do the right thing. You don't have to swindle. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to hate. You don't have to abuse. Be the light, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. Be positive. Hug people, care about people, respect people's money, respect people's time. I don't want to waste your time. I don't waste your money. Be there, man. I'm like, last night I was like, golly, this stuff. And I couldn't even I didn't have a chance to sleep last night. But if I had a chance to sleep last night, I don't know if I would have been able to sleep. Because it was like a sensory overload, the smell, the look, the mom. And you guys know I'm a very, I say what I feel. And it took everything in me not to, someone just said, punch the mom. I would never hit a lady, but it took everything in me not to tell that mom, you're the worst, most despicable person on this planet. Right? The worst. So just be good. That's why I always try to say, be positive. This place is about positivity and possibility, this channel. My website, premedproductivity.com, is about positivity and possibility. I'm trying to open doors for you guys. It's not about negativity. It's not about anything else. It's about helping you guys. And it's about helping each other and supporting everybody. And yeah, CPS was called. If you're a volunteer and you suspect abuse at a hospital, don't approach the parent. Don't approach the caregiver. Go to the doctor and say, listen, I noticed this and this and this. And be specific about what you see. And say, listen, I think there's something we need to report here. And let that person make a decision. Because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you get into an altercation with a violent individual. Or where you get in a situation where you put the kid at risk because you call the parent out and the parent grabs the kid and runs off with the kid. You want the infrastructure to be in place to save that child. And you don't want the confrontation. So make sure you guys go, right? You see that, then go tell the physician, let them know, so that way they can get at it. Okay? But man, life is hard, life is crazy. And last night I was like, it just took you remember those moments where you just feel the air gets taken out of you? That's what it was when I saw that kid come in his mom's arms. It like everything in me, I thought I was having a heart attack or something. I was I have asthma. I had an asthma attack before. I was like, it felt like worse than an asthma attack. It was just crazy. Little tiny Little tiny, sweet little girl. Look like, I don't know if she's sweet, but how could you not be sweet? She's 3. He'll say, "Oh, the bad kid." You can't be a bad kid. If you're poorly behaved when you're 3, it's because your parents were poorly behaved to you. Kids are kids. They're gonna mess around. They're gonna spill stuff. They're gonna break stuff. They're not gonna be listening. How do you hurt a little kid? Ridiculous. Anyway, on that note, on that sad, crushing note, improve yourself, right? Use the discount code improvement, 10% off, how to double your study efficiency. Improve yourself, be positive, be good. Everyone have a great, excellent week. Don't forget, we're live every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Who liked this? Who benefited from this? If you did, take a second, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, please. The discount code for how to double your study efficiency is improvement. Improvement. Okay? We're here every Sunday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Tuesday and Thursday will be a new recorded video for you guys. This week, for my 5 Pillars people, the flashcard webinar is Thursday. For my people who were at my free application webinar last week, the replay will be coming out tomorrow. Will be available for 72 hours. For my people in my How to Dominate Premed and the Medical School Application course, we will be having our weekly, this is entirely new, I just created it today. Every week, every Tuesday, we're going to be meeting for you guys to ask questions and to get feedback on your application, on your personal statement, or any issues you may have to get that from me. That support from our community. All right? So everyone, have a great evening. Have a great week. Everyone, hug somebody. Be good to somebody. Right? Be there for your people. Be there for people. And so Rebecca, my wife can't come on here right now. She's with the kids. So at I know Nightbot is on fire right now. I might have to I got a little crazy with the restrictive settings. I might have to tweak it down a little bit. But my wife's on here sometimes, but you guys will meet my wife. But anyway, everyone have a great week. Be good to each other. Hug each other. Hug each other. Okay? Hug each other. How do we see the old webinars? So if you're in my courses and you want to see the previous webinars, they're available at the bottom of the course where it says exclusive webinars. All right? Peace and love and happiness and beautiful things for everybody. Everyone have a great week. I'll see you guys soon.